The ghosts didn't like her room. It wasn't that there weren't ghosts in the historic hotel by the Pacific Ocean, because there were plenty of them roaming the halls and drifting through the various parlors. Susan often saw the ghosts hiding among the hodgepodge of vintage items on display to amaze and amuse the guests. They even enjoyed standing just slightly behind the plethora of artwork, watching the people as they walked through the hallways, and seemed to make the eyes of every portrait follow the visitors. She heard a number of comments about how spooky it was to walk through the hotel, as she'd been delightfully looking at the vast library of books on the shelf in those same halls. The hotel had long been a favorite for the sailors coming into Lincoln City, Oregon, and had collected a vast array of historical items over the years. There were books, comics, old voyage ledgers, winged back chairs, maps spread across the walls in the rooms, and glowing stars dotting the ceiling. Amid the artwork of portraits and sailing ships were also framed dance cards with the pinned names of the long dead filling in several blanks. A blend of creepy and fascinating in one stop. She'd been told that the hotel was haunted, and that had been one of the attractions for staying there on her vacation, and one of the reasons she'd picked the main hotel rather than the newer cabins on the other side of the courtyard. Yet in her first day there, the ghosts completely ignored the fact Susan was watching them. For her, she'd always been able to see ghosts, an ability she often kept to herself because it creeped people out. Yet the strangeness of the ghosts ignoring her was a fact that weirded her out a bit. Generally, spirits gravitated towards her because she could see them. But here, where the dead seemed to outweigh the living, they seemed to be as oblivious of her as most people were about the ghosts around them. The hotel had the stale smell of old things left to earn dust. The antiques, being rarely touched, had entered their gentle age, admired but not handled. Susan enjoyed browsing them as she made her way through the hotel, listening to several of the other guests who were here for some sort of writers' convention. They liked to gather in the main hall, as they called it, for networking. In truth, it was the dining area of the restaurant, but Susan expected these writers and their spouses were letting their imaginations run wild. If only they could really see who shared the tables and booths with them. Susan sat down at the long rectangular wooden table where several ghosts sat with a couple of guests, enjoying the boarding-house-style meal. The people, the living ones, welcomed her, but the spirits all got up from the table and moved either to other booths near the walls or gathered by the windows. She'd never been so spurned before. Maybe it wasn't so much her room they didn't like, but rather that she was in it.